Welcome to another reading from the Library of Historical Apologetics. Today's reading comes from the work of Thomas Chalmers, the Scottish theologian, minister, social reformer, and leader of the Scottish Free Church. Chalmers studied mathematics at Edinburgh before he was ordained as a minister, and he worked tirelessly to create schools for children of the working classes and to set up Sabbath schools for their education. He was a defender of decentralization of church government, maintaining that no minister should be intruded into a parish contrary to the will of the congregation of that parish. Before I launch into the reading of the quotation from Chalmers, I want to give you an estimate of his value and character from the noted British essayist Thomas Carlyle, in a note that Carlyle wrote to Chalmers' son-in-law shortly after Chalmers' death. He said, "It is not often that the world has seen men like Thomas Chalmers, nor can the world afford to forget them or in its most careless mood be willing to do it. Probably the time is coming when it will become more apparent than it is now to everyone that here intrinsically was the chief Scottish man of his time, a man possessed of such massive geniality of intellect and temper as belonged to no other man. What a grand simplicity, broad humour blent so kindly with enthusiastic ardour and blazing thought, a man of such mild, noble valour, strength, and piety, above all things, of such perfect veracity, I have not met with in these times. Honour to him. Honour belongs to him, and to the essential work he did, an everlasting continuance among the possessions of this world." The reading comes from Chalmers' early book, The Evidence and Authority of the Christian Revelation. I'll be reading from a Philadelphia printing from 1817. We do not condemn the exercise of reason in matters of theology. It is the part of reason to form its conclusions when it has data and evidences before it. But it is equally the part of reason to abstain from its conclusions when those evidences are wanting. Reason can judge of the external evidences for Christianity because it can discern the merits of human testimony, and it can perceive the truth or the falsehood of such obvious credentials as the performance of a miracle or the fulfillment of a prophecy. But reason is not entitled to sit in judgment over those internal evidences which many a presumptuous theologian has attempted to derive from the reason of the thing or from the agreement of the doctrine with the fancied character and attributes of the deity. One of the most useful exercises of reason is to ascertain its limits and to keep within them, to abandon the field of conjecture, and to restrain itself within that safe and certain barrier which forms the boundary of human experience. However humiliating you may conceive it, it is this which lies at the bottom of Lord Bacon's philosophy, and it is to this that modern science is indebted for all her solidity and all her triumphs. Why does philosophy flourish in our days? Because her votaries have learned to abandon their own creative speculations and to submit to evidence, let her conclusions be as painful and unpalatable as they will. Now, all that we want is to carry the same lesson and the same principle into theology. Our business is not to guess, but to learn. After we have established Christianity to be an authentic message from God upon those historical grounds on which the reason and experience of man entitle him to form his conclusions, nothing remains for us but an unconditional surrender of the mind to the subject of the message. We have a right to sit in judgment over the credentials of heaven's ambassador, but we have no right to sit in judgment over the information he gives us. This has been a reading from the Library of Historical Apologetics. I'm Tim McGrew.